When it comes to picking out your next quilt pattern, do you go hunting for one of those long, hard, complicated, thousands of pieces of fabric to sew together? Or do you want to find a quilt that is pretty darn quick? Keep watching. Hi, it's Donna Robertson with Fabric Cafe. Today we're going to be doing a book review on my book called Pretty Darn Quick. Now, every quilt in this book will go together pretty fast. It's also one that has 8 of my, I think they're probably my best-selling patterns. They have big blocks. They do have a few half-square triangles, but the really magic about this whole book is that it has a simple system for choosing your fabrics and putting them together. So we first give you a black and white diagram with 3 boxes, and you pick out a focus fabric that's represented by a dot. That will go in your focus spot. Then you'll have 2 fabrics left over. Those will be the light and the dark. So anytime you get ready to make a quilt, you just need 3 pieces of fabric, 3 one-yard cuts, a focus, a light, and a dark. And the quilts are basically 45 by 60. We'll show you a lap-size quilt. And if you wanted to make it bigger, that's no problem either. We give you the instructions for a twin and a king-queen. So let's look at our first quilt. This particular quilt is called Bow Blocks. It goes together pretty darn quick. It has big 10-inch blocks. It's got a little bit of a modern twist to it because it has the asymmetrical shadow box on it. And it's great for showing off your focus fabrics. Now, I do have some great fireman fabric for this quilt, but we do have different colors. This is blue and red. Let's show you the other fabric that we have, excuse me, which is the fireman fabric as your focus fabric. Your focus always goes into your largest blocks of your quilt. And then we have the red, and I love this red. It has a little splatter of black in it. And then we have the black as your number 3. Now, when you compare these 2 fabrics, you pick your lightest for number 2 and your darkest for number 3. This particular kit is called 8021097 Firefighter Heroes. Bold Blocks is your pattern, and it's available as an individual. The individual pattern is free when you buy the kit. Or if you buy 3 kits, you can skip taking the little patterns, and you can get the book with all of the upsizing as well. All right, the next one that we want to show you is also from the Bold Blocks, but this one has a floral design. It's a great way to see how any fabric will work with any one of the 3-yard quilts. So this one has a floral here, a vine in your number 2, and then it has the dark purple for your shadow box. So let's put that one up here and look at this fabric. Now this fabric, we no longer have the 2 companion fabrics, but once again, we have the floral still in our lineup. We've just put 2 other companions with this. It's identical prints, so your focus fabric is the same. This is the same vine. As you'll notice, it has a little purple berry, and that goes with the coordination of this fabric. And then the dot is the same, only this one is in the green. So no longer have this color combination, but this new color combination is 802045. It's called Sugar Garden. It has the bold blocks, and it's this pattern individually or in the book pretty darn quick. Now, the next one that we're going to be doing is absolutely hands down one of my most popular patterns. People love this one. It gets pinned all the time on Pinterest. It has a nice focus block here, and then it has the marching blocks. I love the way they march right up to the top of the quilt. And we'll put that one up here and show you this one. Now, we do not have this fabric, but we do have these great sunflowers. So the sunflowers, of course, is your focus fabric. That's what you want to show off. So that goes in the largest block. And then you have your 2 remaining. You put your light here. and then you put your dark here. So you have your focus is your 3, and that's how we position them in the pattern. Now I do want to show you one thing here. So let's go ahead and get to the stepping stones pattern. So this is the stepping stones pattern, and I do want to point out to you that it does have the black and white diagram with your focus and your 1 and your 2. It also has your upsizing. So if you wanted to make it a twin size, you need 6 yards of fabric or 2 of our kits. If you wanted to make a king queen, then you would need 4 of the kits. Over in this section, we put your cutting instructions, and we've been showing you those boxes that have 1, 2, and 3. Then our cutting instructions are actually broken out that way so that you know what to cut from 1, 2, and 3. So this particular one is 8021096, Sunflower Dance. Stepping Stones is your pattern. It comes free when you buy the kit. And if you want to skip this and buy 3 kits, you will get the book free instead, and it includes all of the upsizing. Okay, the next one is called Sugar Pie. I don't have this fabric, but we always like to show you what the quilts look like. They go together so nicely, and this one especially I liked because it looks like those little candies that have the little papers that twist on each side. So this one has a focus block, and I want to block this one out for you so that you can see how this works, how you put the quilt together. Now this is the fabric that we have for this. I no longer have the teal and the rose color, but we have this great purple and pink as your focus. And then we have our number 2 and our number 3 fabric that coordinate beautifully, would give you this great quilt. As I explained, whenever you're putting this together, your number 2 fabric is going to be your background, so it makes your design elements really pop. I use strip piecing a lot whenever I make my quilts, and I'm going to show you how this quilt block is put together. You're not going to be sewing a lot of little bitty pieces together. You're going to do strip piecing. And this particular part of the block is put together by sewing a big wide strip and then a piece on each side of it. You then cut it into units, and then those units, you use those as your main building block for your quilt. You're going to make another strip pieced design that looks like this. And then I'm sorry, I got to get this one in there too. So it'll have the little square here and here on the either side of a long one. Cut that into units. You're going to put one of those on either side. And then you continue to repeat that with another strip piece so that you end up just strip piecing around that block. It's really cool. So when you're all finished, here's your block all cropped out. So there is your block. And it is really pretty darn quick to put that thing together, even though it looks a little bit more complicated. Our kit number is 8021095. Snuggly. We're always laughing about how hard it is to read upside down. Snuggly Sunday. And that's the Sugar Pie pattern. Pretty darn quick is the name of the book. Now the next one is called Heartland. Heartland is a nice kind of an old-fashioned look, and if you like Civil War and more traditional looking fabrics, this is a great one for that. I have actually put modern fabrics in this, and it looks just as awesome. So it's got your focus fabric here, and then you've got your light that goes to the back so that it shows your design element, and then we also use the black as a trim for your focus fabric. Now, another thing I like about this quilt is I like to put your focus fabrics in the border because I just think it just adds a little oomph. So some of my quilts have focus fabric out in the border area. This one is your focus fabric. It's your number 1. And then we have this little print, and it's just a focus. It's sort of the background color. It's a little bit darker than this. We ran out of this light color, but I replaced it with this, and I actually think I like it even better than I did the original. And then this is your third fabric here. So this one is called Jamestown 2. We put a number on the end if we had the first version, which was the lighter color. And so now we have Jamestown 2. Heartland is the pattern. It's from the book Pretty Darn Quick. Originally, I did this quilt pattern for the Modern Views magazine. They asked me if I would do one of our 3-yard quilts for them. And then the rights reverted back to me, so I added it to this particular book because it has been so popular with our customers. It's a great design that really has a little more of a modern twist to it and just fun to make. It's one of those that builds real easily with the strip piecing methods that I use frequently. Now, we don't have any more of this fabric, but we do have a new fabric that I think is going to be gorgeous. This one has these dandelions. Aren't they cool? Really very artsy. So the dandelion fabric is your number 1. It's going to be here in this section because that in the book it's going to have the polka dot right there so you can see that. The number 2 is always compared with the number 3 fabric. So this actually looks like the darkest fabric, but because I picked it as the focus, it goes out of the equation, and then you compare these two to get your light and your dark. So it works every single time. It is all a little bit of a fun thing to work with and see how it works every single time for you if you put those in that order. Okay, your kit number is 8021094. Natural Wonder. Corner Play is the pattern that is available as an individual, or if you're buying 3 kits, then you can get the book Pretty Darn Quick free. This one is called Porch Rails. Porch Rails I designed, and I'm always looking for names. When you have over 100 children, you have to keep coming up with new names. And one day I was contemplating the name of this one, and I had done a rail fence block along with a solid block. And as I was sitting on my porch, I decided that I would name this Porch Rails. It reminded me of the rails that you see on the porches. So this one is Indian paintbrush. No, sorry. This is called Painted Desert. Painted Desert. Okay, this one is the focus fabric is the number 1, and that's going to go in your number 2 fabric. Then you're going to have your remaining 2, and you compare those. This is your lightest, so that's going to go in this section. Your 3rd fabric is your number 3, and it goes here. Now, here's a good example. If you switch those 2 and you put the darkest, it would be out here on the edge, and it would hit this block, and it would kind of disappear. But it works this way by keeping the division between those 2 colors. Okay, this one's called this one is kit number 8020164. Painted Desert. Porch Rails is your pattern. Pretty Darn Quick is your book. And if you're wondering, well, how do I get these kits? You just go to fabriccafe.com and click on the 3-yard quilt kit button. All right, this one is called It's a Snap. It's a Snap is a cascading square. Now that's put together, and it actually has 4 different blocks in this particular quilt to achieve this look. It's really the way that I write my patterns, that even though there's 4 different blocks that you're going to be making, it still is quick to make because my instructions take you step by step by step. Let's block out these 4 different blocks so you can see how cool this is. And when you start working with it, you're going to have one of the blocks, and this particular block is going to be just a solid block. Now, how easy is that to make that particular block? So you can see right there. Then you're going to have another block, and this block is going to be right here. And this is done again in your strip piecing. Now I'm going to have to shift just a little bit. So I'm going to shift this over here. Here's your next block, and it is here. You can see how that block is. And then another just absolutely super simple block is right here. You've got you a 4-patch right there. So you can see that none of those blocks are difficult, and when you put them together with the illustrations that we provide for you, it's super, super easy. Okay, let's look at that fabric up close and personal. So you've got your medallion, it's right here. It's going to go in your largest block. Then you've got the light blue that's your background, and then you have your mottled blue, which becomes your binding, one of your borders, and part of your block accent. And again, that light number 2 fabric is what causes you to be able to see the cascading blocks. The number is 802014 Eastern Skies. It's a Snap is the pattern. It's free when you buy the kit, or skip taking that, buy 3 kits, and you've got the book. It's free. Now the next one that we have is Through the Window. Through the Window again is one of our earlier patterns, actually. Fran Morgan actually designed this one. She's my daughter and also a designer with Fabric Cafe. And then we worked on it together and actually enlarged the pattern and named it Through the Window again. So it's a little bit larger than it started out being. This one, it has a half square triangle and then it's sashed. I do not make you make little 1-inch squares that are sewn together. It's all strip pieced and it does go together fast. Now, it's also one of our more challenging ones in this one. I always try to give you a little bit of a challenge so you can make those big block ones that are just easy, 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 or do something with a little bit more challenge. Now, this particular one, I'm out of the original fabric, but we do have this really pretty kind of a folk art looking flower. This would be your number 1 fabric. It's going to go where your floral is. Then you're going to have a cream color, which would go where the green is on this one. And then your 3rd fabric will be your sashing, is this great teal that coordinates so beautifully with this. Really like these fabrics. Okay, this one is 8021093. Barn Dance is the name of the kit. Through the Window is the pattern. It's free when you buy your kit, or skip taking this when you buy 3 kits and you can get the book free. So that's all about Pretty Darn Quick Quilts. Now, the book is $15.99 if you prefer to do a little stash busting. It's easy to do with just 3 1-yards to cut out. And we do have other books as well. I have a total of 10 books in print, and I have a total of 10 books. 7 of them are in print. 3 of them are download only. You can choose the download books as well if you wanted to purchase one or to get it free when you buy 3 kits. Then we will send you a code for you to download that book. So this is Donna Robertson with Fabric Cafe. Please be sure to subscribe to our videos, and whenever you click on the subscribe, a little bell will show up. If you click on that, then we will notify you each time we have a video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.